Hello! Today I am going to show you how to use the Rapid Prep Mandoline for a bell pepper. So I know when I do cooking shows, people are always impressed with what this beautiful beauty does. It's a Pampered Chef Rapid Prep Mandoline. And then they get it at home, they get it delivered to their home, and they're like, wait, how do I use that? How did that chick do it? So I've made a couple of videos to show how to use it for a potato. I'm going to do a bell pepper today, and then I'm also going to have another video to post for an onion, which I will do here in a moment, so to be continued. But on any note, it can be tricky at first when you first get this item, just because you're not familiar with it. But once you're familiar with it, it becomes a breeze, and it is my #1 go-to for prepping in the kitchen. It makes things so quick. And I've had actually my customers say, my husband loves this, he's never chopping potatoes again. It does have 3 different settings. It has a slice, it has julienne, thicker julienne, thinner julienne, and then it has numbers that kind of tell you how thick you want things to be. So 0 being the smallest, great for hash brown sizes, small little sizes. 2 slices, good slices. So even for like when you want to cut potatoes for boiling potatoes up, great for a good thick slice. So without further ado, let's get started with this. It doesn't do everything. I'm obviously going to have to still cut up some pieces of my bell pepper. I do have a scoop loop that does help get all of the insides out that I sell, but I do not have it in my house to show you. So we're going to go old-fashioned and show you how this works. So I'm going to take my Rapid Prep Mandoline, open it up, the blade area, place my guard in, take out the pusher guy. I don't always know the terminology, so forgive me. And let's see, let's turn it this way. So maybe you can see the slices when they come out. So if you're wanting maybe just the slices, this part, it's all how you put this in the Rapid Prep of how you're gonna get stuff out. So I'm gonna do slices. So I want maybe for like fajitas, maybe if you like the whole rings, we're gonna do a slice, and I'm gonna take it down to like a 4 thickness so you can see. Obviously the change of the number is gonna be how thick your slice is gonna be. So I'm gonna put this in that's the other thing, is if your item is too big to fit in, you'll either have to take out your guard or cut it in half or make it smaller. So let me turn you here so you can see what I'm doing. So I just took off the guard. And so you can see this is how I would get those rings. And that's the thickness, okay? Let's say you are wanting maybe dices. I would actually cut this. I'm gonna put my guard back on. I'm gonna cut this guy in half, like so. And put it in here. It doesn't matter if it's face up, face down. What's gonna matter is your settings. So let's change it to a thicker. So their julienne slices is what it shows, okay? But what happens is the blade comes up differently in here. So now we're going to have what's gonna end up being a dice because of how I cut this guy. So I'm gonna do thicker one to show you. Let's go ahead and keep it on a 4 so you can see. And this guy just helps you push it through. So it's gonna get out what I had already cut. So here we have some of those dices that I was telling you that it's gonna now make, or dices. And let's change it to, see, here we go. Some of those dices. Let's change it to a 2. So you can kind of see the difference in sizes, and I'll pull a couple out so you can compare. Okay, let's see. So here are the 2s compared to the 4s. They're just a little tinier. But the thickness is still there on this side. Like it's still the same length. So if you want them even thinner, so what happens is it starts collecting a little bit. So this is where I don't want you to get confused with what it produces. Let me move those out of the way. Maybe. Okay. Push those to the back of the container. And then let's change this to a thinner, look, there's some thinner julienne slices. And then let's turn it back to a 4. Again, so we can just compare. It's all about comparing for me here. Again, why this keeps happening too is, again, it's how I have it cut. So here are julienne. So if you like your fajitas maybe to have something like this, it's how I'm cutting it, how I cut it and put it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it one more time. See? So that way I can keep the ends out. Okay, 4 thinner julienne. So you can see they are now a little bit thinner. Okay, and it's at a 4. And so here was the other one. See, it's just a little bit thicker. And so let me change it to a 2, because the other one we did was a 2. And then I can show you how to do strips too. Okay. Here are the 2s. They're little guys. They're little. So if you're really wanting a good dice, this is a good way to go. If you don't want them still as long, again, it's all how you cut your bell pepper and put your bell pepper in. I know you're like, wait, I thought I didn't have to cut anything. You are going to have to cut some things to put it in here, but it still makes the dicing process, because if you're not a like the chefs, it can take a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and, well, I have this guy kind of whole. Let's show you some slices. I did show you some for the rings, but I'm going to take it back to the slice setting. The slices setting right here. And I want to show you the different various sizes there are. So what this does when you put it on the slice setting, it takes the blades up so it's a straight slice. Okay, so when I put it like this in here, it's seriously just slicing them up like that. Okay, kind of like the whole one. And so let me hold that, guys, so you can see. Let's take it down to a 3, because again, it changes the thickness. Okay, and then, oops, we can cut it. I'm going to cut it into thirds of what was left and kind of stack them on top of each other, kind of get that dice that I'm wanting more, rather than what we had last time. Okay, so let's go back to the big julienne slices. It's the one on this side by itself. And let's take it to a 3. And it's just, again, I'm just showing you different various ways that you can cut up a bell pepper in this. But everything is, and this reason why too is because if you're wondering how to get a good dice, this one's a good dice for you, is making sure that you cut them up into a smaller chunk to feed them in to cut. And it does go so much faster to dice this way than the knife. And then if you like bell peppers for your pizzas or whatnot, and you don't care at your slices at all, you just like to have some chunks of bell peppers, it makes things easier for that. So I sure hope this video has helped you on how to cut a bell pepper with the Rapid Prep Mandoline. I do have a video already for potatoes, and I am going to go ahead and do one for onions, because onions are also tricky because they already have a slice to it. So look for that. Thank you so much for joining me.